Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to be making Leia's celebration dress. This is the dress that she wears at the end of A New Hope. So I'm going to show you my process for making it. Alright, so here is the pattern that I am using for my ceremonial Leia cosplay. It is a pattern by JenEyre. I will link it down below. And I've started cutting out the bodice. I do know for a fact that I'm going to have to alter this a lot because from what JenEyre said, this pattern is made for someone bigger than me, so I am going to have to take it in quite a bit. So I'm going to start with the bodice and go from there. Alright, so here is my fabric. It is a white scuba knit that I got from Hobby Lobby. I don't remember how much I got because I got it quite a while ago. So hopefully it will be enough and we're gonna find out. So I'm not gonna make a mock-up for this because I really don't feel like making a mock-up. Alright, so I got the bodice all sewn together. I got the darts in there and everything, and I tried it on. And then I did put some pins in where I need to take it in so that it will fit better. And then on the left side, because I'm right-handed, I did draw some lines on where it needs to be taken in. And then drew some lines on the back where I need to take it in so that it actually fits me a little bit better, because again, the pattern is a couple sizes too big for me. So what I am going to do is actually recut the front because I don't want a seam right here in the center front, and then I'm just going to trim down the back piece. So I'm going to have to rip off these seams, recut this front piece, and then trim everything in, sew it back together. Alright, so a little bit of an update. I have the chiffon piece cut out, the sleeve part. I have this front triangle piece pinned into place just so I can have an idea of what it's going to look like and everything and how the sleeves are going to fit. And then I have started hemming them. So I do have this side done. It is a rolled hem. So it's a rolled hem, so it's rolled over twice so that the raw edge is encased. And then I just did very, very tiny lip stitches. So this side is done. I'm very happy with how it came out. So there are a couple of areas where it's kind of rippling and rolling weird just because of being on the bias versus being on the grain. I am going to iron this. I have not ironed this fabric yet, in case you can't tell by the giant fold right there. So I am going to iron this after I finish sewing everything in place. And then I've started doing this side. So this side I actually got mostly pinned and then realized that this hem was wider than the other side and wider than I want it to be, so I have to go through and repin it, but that's not that big of a deal. The reason I did it by hand and not on the machine is because one, sewing a rolled hem on the machine is tricky, sewing chiffon on the machine is tricky, and I don't have a rolled hem foot for my machine, so I would still have to pin it by hand and then carefully put it through my machine. I was also worried about the machine having more visible stitching. So once I'm done hemming the sleeves, I am going to go in and just put a quick running stitch in this just to hold it in place so I can take the pins out and work with it easier, and then that stitch will also hold this a bit better. And then I am going to cut out another layer so that my entire dress is 2 layers, so I don't have to worry about it being sheer or see-through or anything because it is white fabric. White fabric's always a little see-through. And then I will put the bodice together and then cut out the skirt and sew the skirt on. Okay, so a little bit of an update. I have both of these sleeves all hemmed. I'm very happy with how they came out. I have not ironed this yet because I am lazy, and also in order for me to iron this I have to go down 2 flights of stairs and in my sister's room because she has the iron. So I either have to go down to her room and iron it or grab the iron and bring it up here. So the next thing I did was I gathered right here along this waistline because it is gathered. So I went ahead and gathered that and got it all pinned down, and then I went ahead and did this pleat, and I just have it base stitched right now just to hold it in place until I can iron it. And a little bit about this pleat. This is actually wrong. When I was first doing this, I thought that there were two pleats on either side forming a V. That's why you can kind of see a little bit of a fold right there. It's because I originally had two pleats on either side, but looking at Rebel Legion standards and some pictures of the restoration of this costume, someone had some really nice close-up pictures of the restoration. There is a pleat right here, but it's not just a pleat right here, it's actually folded under, so there is a pleat here, but it's underneath. So like this entire triangle piece is one pleat that's just kind of folded over. It's hard to describe. So I'm sorry if that just confused the crap out of you. But so I did try to do that, but I didn't realize it until after I had cut out the chiffon and hemmed the sleeves. So unfortunately, because of the pattern I was using, I wasn't able to make this screen accurate, which is going to annoy the crap out of me. And I would have fixed it, except I did not feel like taking a week to rehem the sleeves because I would have to cut out an entirely new piece of fabric and then rehem these sleeves, which I did not feel like doing. So this is correct according to Rebel Legion standards, but it is not actually screen accurate. But anyway, so that aside, once I got that all pinned down and everything, I went in and I actually stitched the sleeves down next. It's not going to focus very well, but I went in and just did a really fine running stitch on these sleeves along that hemming stitch that I did, and they do actually slant back like this. Mine aren't quite where I want them to be. I'd want them to be a bit closer to the seam, but just with the way this lays, that's where they had to be. So, yep, but they do actually slant back like this towards the back of her shoulder, so I got both of those stitched down, and then I went ahead and did a zigzag stitch along the neckline and along the bottom here to hold everything in place, and to also act as kind of a fray stop for the chiffon. So next what I'm going to do is make the lining piece for this, sew it along the neckline, and then work on the skirt. So that's where we're at right now. So yeah. Alright, so I got the skirt pieces all cut out and sewn together, and I have them pinned on my dress form so that they can hang, because if you don't know, when you're making a skirt or a dress, gravity will pull the fabric and it will cause your hemline to be uneven. So yeah, you have to hang them up at least overnight. So this I'm actually just gonna let hang until I get my shoes in. I just ordered them from Poshmark, so it'll probably be about a week until they're in, but I can't hem this until I get my shoes in because the shoes are heels, so obviously I can't hem this without the shoes, so I know the proper height to hem it. It is also quite a few inches too long because the pattern I'm using was made for someone who is quite a few inches taller than me. So that's good because then it will have that train in the back, which it kind of... So right now the hem is pretty even all around. The back is probably like an inch longer than the front, but gravity will pull that down somewhat. So I finished my chiffon with a French seam. This one actually isn't finished because I ran out of thread on my bobbin, but it was only a couple of inches from the bottom, so I'm not going to worry about it because it's probably going to get trimmed off when I actually hem this. So yeah, my chiffon layer came out just slightly bigger than the underlayer, but I'm not worried about it because I'll just ease that in when I actually stitch it to the dress, or when I stitch it to the bodice. So yeah, a couple of notes. I did take this waist seam in about an inch on either side because I did do that to the bodice, so I knew I'd have to take this in. And then for the skirt, so Leia's dress, so this outfit, the dress is actually pretty straight. It doesn't have very much of a flare to it. It hangs pretty straight against the body, so it's very A-line. It's not circle or anything. So I did actually end up taking out like 30 inches from the hemline right here, just because the pattern was too full. I didn't like the size of it, and I didn't like how it looked on me. So I did end up taking like 30 inches out of this bottom hem. So yeah, I didn't lengthen or shorten it from the pattern because this dress does have a train. Rebel Legion standard says the train needs to be about 12 to 16 inches, I believe. So right now, I think, and the train is only this chiffon layer. This underneath layer hits about at the top of the foot, I believe, if I remember correctly, and the chiffon layer is just slightly longer than that. So yeah, I have not ironed anything yet. Again, I'm waiting until I have it all sewn together to iron it. So my chiffon seams are a little wrinkled because I still need to press them and everything. There's still fold marks in my chiffon, but yeah. So that's what it looks like. Alright, so here's where we are right now. Still pretty rough. I did put the lining in the bodice so that I could have a nice clean seam here without doing facings, because I hate facings and they just never lay properly. I went through and understitched it, which just means you stitch the seam allowance to that inner layer to help it lay a bit more flat. Again, I haven't ironed anything, so once I iron this, it'll lay a bit nicer. I still have to finish the arm's eye, which the arm's eye I will be finishing by hand because, again, like the neckline, there's no visible stitching, so I will have to finish that by hand. But yeah, here's what it looks like so far. I am pretty happy with how it's coming out. Unfortunately, I'm at a little bit of a standstill until I get my shoes in because, again, I need the shoes to hem it so I can hem it to the proper height, make sure I don't accidentally make it too long or too short. So yeah, just gonna basically let this hang out here on the dress form until I get my shoes in. So these are my shoes that I got from Poshmark. I am very happy with them. They're pretty comfortable, and they're basically brand new. So yeah, so what I need to do with these is paint the heel, so I'm gonna lightly sand it just to give the paint something to grip onto. This dress has been hanging for like a week because, like I said, I had to wait for the shoes to come in to hem it, and I did go through on the one side and finish the arm's eye. I hand sewed it with a hidden stitch because there is no visible stitching on this, which means it's either hand stitched or has a facing of some kind, and like I said earlier, I don't like facings, they just never turn out right for me. So I did go through and hand stitch that down. So again, this does still need to be ironed. I haven't ironed it yet. Hi, bud. Hi. Do you want some attention? Are you jealous of me talking to my camera? Alright, so I have the bodice and the skirt attached. Here's what it's looking like so far. Here's the top of it. The top's a little wonky right now. I have to go in and fix the chiffon part right here because I didn't quite get them lined up right, so it is a little bit baggy right here. So I have to go in and fix that, and then I don't have the underlayer tacked down yet, so that's a little loose. I borrowed my sister's senatorial Leia belt just to see how it looks. I am very happy with it so far. Alright, so I hemmed the inner layer, and as you can see, I have quite a bit I needed to hem. This hits right below my ankle, which is where I wanted to hit, but yeah, I had to hem it quite a bit. I am still going to leave probably about 1.5 inches because that is the hem that she has on hers. You can see the stitch line for it, so I am going to cut off about this much and then hem this much by hand. I did fix the front part that I showed you last time. I'll show you that later because this is inside out, and then I just went in and tacked my lining down so that it covered my raw hem, or it covered my raw edges of the skirt, mostly just focusing on covering the raw edge of the chiffon so I don't have to worry about it fraying and getting all over the place. So my Princess Leia celebration dress is completely done. I am very happy with it. So excited that it's done. I have a couple of seams that I need to fix because I accidentally popped a couple stitches when I was putting it on and taking it off, but that's minor repairs that'll take me like a minute to do. But for the most part, it is done, it is hemmed, and it fits wonderfully. It looks amazing, and I'm so happy with it. So next step is going to be doing all the accessories. I'm going to end this video here because this video is probably going to be pretty long, and I don't want to have my video be like an hour long or anything. So I am going to stop this video here, and then the next video will probably be doing the belt and the shoes and the necklace and bracelet. And then yeah, so I will see you guys next time. Bye!